It was probably like a year prior, like is when I found the Tonga national team page. I just sent in a CV and they contacted me and invited me to come. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I had this opportunity to go play for my father's home country's national team.
How do you go from having a normal life at 26 years old to playing for your national team just overnight? Well, today I've got just the person who did that. I've got the likes of Maikeli Lomu. Of course, congratulations on a fantastic year or two in terms of your footballing career. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about, as I just said, overnight going from having quite a traditional, normal life, it seems, to being called up to the Tonga national football team, obviously being part of their World Cup qualifying squad. An absolute dream to most. Can you talk to me if a movie had to be made about your footballing story so far and you had to sell that movie, how exactly would you describe your footballing career so far?
Um, I would probably say I don't know, like when I was younger, playing soccer when I like a teenager age, just getting out of high school, I lost a lot of confidence and just momentum leaving high school in my soccer career, and yeah, it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I had this opportunity to go play for my father's home country's national team, and I took the opportunity as it came. I just jumped into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's truly fantastic because when it comes to playing for one's national team, we know the normal story. You kind of play out the season the best you can for normally a professional club, and then from that you wait for the national team to call to say you've got the position. But the way I saw it happened is it wasn't quite like that for you. It wasn't quite a matter
Mhm.
of you've been selected. Do you mind sharing that process?
Yeah, sure. So I actually took a break from playing for 8 years after high school. I hadn't played any like really competitive leagues, just for fun here and there. Um, but yeah, I was teaching pottery classes at my pottery studio, and I we saw a Facebook post that the Tonga national team was looking for international players, and so I I just sent in a CV and they contacted me and invited me to um, come and like train with them. And so I thought that's what I could do. I could just come, show up, and just see where I'm at. I really didn't know how good I was going to be compared to the other guys. And so I just jumped in.
Hey guys, it is Finn here. I hope you guys are enjoying the interview so far. It is the first ever interview I've done on this channel. I just wanted to quickly ask you guys for a massive favor. If you guys know anyone else with an interesting football story, or perhaps you are that person, please do get in touch because interviews is something I've been wanting to bring to this channel for a very, very long time. Obviously, thank you everyone for the support over the years. Thank you for making this a possibility. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and obviously do like and subscribe as it does help the channel out. Let's get back in. Yeah, I think that's quite an admirable story because I think it's a great message to people out there, kind of, if there's a dream job that you've got out there, but you're too nervous to potentially maybe send your CV in or any kind of message out there, that, by sending that one message or by responding to it, it can be life changing, not just career
Mhm.
changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's been quite something.
Yeah, it was absolutely like life changing in a sense of like just confidence and just who I am as a person. Yeah, like it's led me down a road where like I'm actually trying to prioritize my health and like not only just like opportunities in like business and like the soccer world and on social media, but like yeah, like I'm living a lot healthier of a life as like an international soccer player now than I was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm sure because I actually wanted to ask you from just when you get to your mid 20s, let's say you've kind of built a lifestyle of how you do certain things. What kind of like was it difficult to adjust to those sacrifices of automatically being like, well, I'm sure it wasn't automatic, training and eating like an athlete from having a semi-normal probably routine.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely done like a complete 180 on the like the food that I've been eating. I used to just eat just whatever I wanted and just however much I wanted, but now I really have to manage that very carefully just to make sure that I can stay in the best shape that I can, just so I can continue to accept opportunities as they come with the national team. And there's other clubs in Tonga that are trying to get me to come and play, and so I have to stay really relatively fit to be able to go and take those opportunities to the best of my ability.
I'm sure. And I mean, not just from your own health points of view, but when it comes to family, I'm sure, and yourself, as you said, you had a studio back home in Utah, I'm
Hmm.
assuming.
Yeah.
What was it like once you got that call? What was the next steps in terms of your own personal life, the kind of sacrifices you had to make to get to Tonga, obviously?
Yeah, so we sold that pottery studio, and that was kind of a process that we were already in prior to me going to Tonga to go and play and train. So yeah, we sold the pottery studio. We sold all of our like belongings and everything that we had, just to try and get enough money for me to be able to go and like have no pressure on it. And so, yeah, we sold everything. We actually moved in. We moved to Texas in with my in-laws, just for a few weeks prior to me leaving, and then my wife, while we were getting all of our passports ready for my kids, um, they were staying there for I think 2 months prior to them coming to Tonga. Um, and so yeah, we basically sold everything, and yeah, just started paperwork, getting passports ready, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I think you're also very lucky in the regard that you've got a family that is there to support you through that. What has your family dynamic kind of meant to you throughout this process?
Oh, my family's everything to me. My kids, they were there at the airport, like sending me off to Tonga last year, and I was excited to meet them when they came to Tonga to support me. It's been really fun having them as a support system, just because it was a really cool experience, and I got to actually enjoy like something that not a lot of people ever even get the opportunity to. But I got to enjoy that with my family, and just having their support meant a lot to me. They were there watching the games in Tonga when the FIFA World Cup qualifiers were going on. They were sending me videos and pictures of the shirts that they were wearing, and it was just really like motivating to me for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, with that, obviously joining the national team, I'm sure you almost had a sense of having a new family, a sporting family. What was it like? Was it a very welcoming environment as soon as you got to meet the team?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it took a while. A lot of them, they're not very confident with their English, and I'm not confident with my Tongan. I speak a little bit, but it's really back then it was pretty rough. Um, they honestly speak better English than I speak Tongan, and so the language barrier itself was a little bit difficult. But overall, they were very welcoming, very kind. I was there for 6 weeks prior to camp, and I made a lot of really good relationships with the other players. So much so that when the other international players came for camp from New Zealand, I was like one of the favorite of the international players. They almost considered me like one of like the homegrown from Tonga players, rather than just another one of the international players that just comes for the week and then leaves after the tournament's over. So yeah, they were very welcoming and very kind to me.
Yeah, I mean that can make the entire difference. And in terms of obviously, I'm looking at your path here so far, what you've done in life, and obviously getting that later opportunity. I mean, obviously, we're in a world where 16, 17-year-olds play for Barcelona nowadays. The
Right.
opportunity you got, do you look at your other what kind of paths do the people around you within that national team have? Do they have very similar stories to yours?
So most of the players that played on the team were from Tonga, and they play in the Tongan league. And that league it's not really professional. It's professionally run, but all the players are very amateur. Um, and so I think it was like 18 or 19 of them on the squad, on the World Cup qualifying squad, were from there, and so most of them didn't have the same story as I did. And even the international players from New Zealand, they were all university students that played for their university, and that's really all that we had. There's one guy that plays professionally in Thailand, and he was supposed to come, but he didn't end up coming. Um, and I guess he would have had the most similar story to me. Um, I guess there was the captain of the Tonga national team, Hemalotu Polavili. He is 27, where he was 27 last year, and so I guess he also kind of had a similar situation where he's kind of found a life outside of footballing, and he, yeah, had to like really get into shape last year. Except it's kind of the same thing every time for him, where he a tournament comes up and he has to get back into shape and starts playing a lot more. But he's really good, a lot better than me. That's why he is the captain and plays. But I'd say that's more so the story for a lot of the players on the Tonga national team, where they live their own life on the island, just farming or doing whatever work they can find. And then, I mean, a lot of them even go to school because they were very young, like under 19, 18. Um, and then, yeah, they just come and play soccer after school at the fields. And then the opportunity comes for them to play on the national team, and they leave their job, they leave their families, and they just go and play.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a story, and I mean I'm sure there are a lot of national teams out there that have kind of a similar story, but obviously people kind of look at your England or your Spain, where all the players are playing professionally for all
Mm-hmm.
these teams. But obviously, I mean the World Cup is viewed as the biggest stage in football. When it
Yeah.
comes to the qualifiers and for your experience, run me kind of emotionally kind of how you feel leading up to a game, for example, in the World Cup qualifiers, kind of the preparation leading up to it. And I saw you spoke about kind of getting emotional when it comes to the anthems. What is that experience like for someone who had a very different life about 2 years ago?
It meant a lot to me to be able to sit like sideline as, yeah, like as you said, when the anthem started playing, the FIFA anthem, and then the Tonga national anthem, like that. It was an extremely emotional experience, and I was just really grateful to be there, and to have that opportunity just to be a part of like something like the World Cup qualifiers. Because like I grew up like watching the World Cup, everybody does, and everybody wants to be on that stage, and like they want to be a part of it. And I feel like I got to experience like even a little bit of that, just kind of excitement and emotion. But yeah, leading up to a game, um, yeah, we were in the locker rooms and getting ready. I was excited at the opportunity to even be able to like sit on the bench. When I was on when the game started and we were playing, it and we sorry, when when we played our first game, the one that we won against the Cook Islands, every time we scored a goal, like I was up there cheering with the team. I was super hyped. At halftime, uh, I was even well after halftime in the second half at the beginning. Me and like three other guys, we got up and warmed up. We were like, I was super excited because it felt like I was actually gonna like maybe go in. Whereas 6 months prior, like I had no anticipation that I'd even be like anywhere near like a soccer pitch at all, let alone,
That's
yeah, like a FIFA
fantastic.
World Cup qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, geez, you literally don't really get a much bigger stage than that. And I mean, is it true that leading up to the tournament, I'm not sure whether the quotes are accurate or not, but you weren't even sure that Tonga had a national team?
Yeah, yeah. It was probably like a year prior, like is when I found the Tonga national team page on Facebook. I had traveled to Tonga several times throughout my like childhood, and I noticed on my most recent one in 2019. We went to Tonga for I think 2 weeks. I noticed some soccer fields just as we were driving past, just to the beach. We are just going to the beach, and I saw some soccer fields, and I didn't even know that Tongans played at all. Like I thought that it was just rugby, netball, maybe, and like I don't know, maybe some like rowing or something is basically all that they played. But I was ecstatic to see like soccer goals on the island, and I didn't have time to go look at them or to go over to see what was going on over there. But that was like where the national team like trains, and that was the like soccer center for the island. So yeah, I had no idea up until a year prior to me joining the team.
Yeah, I mean, geez, that's quite a jump from not knowing that there was a team to being part of the team. I mean, it's obviously quite the story. And I wanted to ask, how has your career in terms of soccer kind of progressed since joining the national team? When it comes to club football, how have things kind of changed within that last year or two span?
Yeah, so I stayed in Tonga after the qualifiers for I think 3 more months after we came back, and I played club soccer there with the one of the top teams in the Tongan league, Tonga FC. Um, I had to leave halfway through the season and come back to the U.S. But since then, I've been invited to come play with the club that eventually won the league last year or this last season um, in the Champions League, the OFC Champions League next year in January. And so I'm planning on doing that. I'm starting my own semi-pro team here in the U.S. so that Tongan players can come and play at least at a semi-pro level, rather than just the amateur level in Tonga. So that'll be starting up soon, and I'll probably play with them as well. But that won't. We're not going to be starting that league until spring, the spring of this next year. And so um, yeah, I mean, I've wanted to try and go to tryouts for other like semi-pro teams and professional teams. Life just gets in the way, and I just haven't been able to though.
Yeah, no, I mean, life, it's, I mean, I've seen you post, obviously, you post a lot on Instagram, and I've seen you talk about the balance of life, as a family man, as an athlete, all these different aspects of life. And I mean, talking kind of about the setup that you just referred to, I see you've also got a semi coaching history in terms of, I think it's at high school level potentially. Do you see yourself as a mentor for the younger players?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the role that I feel like I that fits me best with the national team. Just I'm a lot older than a lot of them, and especially here in the U.S. If they were to come, I would be basically the only person that they know here in the U.S. And so mentorship is exactly what I'm looking to take on. That's the kind of role that I'm looking to take on with the team. I'd love to play, and playing is super fun. My body is old and tired. I'm only 27, but like I don't know. I haven't been taking care of it like a lot of the like real professional athletes have been for most of their lives, and so I my body hurts when I train too hard for an extended amount of time, and so coaching and mentorship is what I'm looking to do with my semi-pro team, and as much playing as I can for sure.
Okay, well, I've just got a few more questions for you before we wrap it up. But one really interesting story that I saw is that you helped the national team gain one of its first sponsors.
Yeah, yeah. So Riley from Custom Athletics, he messaged me because he found me on Instagram and heard about my story. He had been trying to get into Oceania football, to sponsor one of the teams for several years now. He started his company, I think, like 5 to 10 years ago, and yeah, he's been looking to sponsor a national team, and give them jerseys and kits, and to give them money and sponsorships. But none of the football associations have been able to like have really understood exactly what they're offering him, because it's not something that they've necessarily dealt with, um, especially Tonga. Like when after I got the message from Riley, he sent me a video message, and he was like, "Hey, like I want to sponsor like the Tonga national team. Can you help me?" I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll like, what are you offering? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to give both the men's and women's senior team kits. I'll give them like a bunch of money, and I'll even come and buy the national team all new boots. I need like a way in because I'm not getting messages back from them, and so I went to the presidents of the Tonga Football Association, and I was like, hey, there's this guy in America. He wants to sponsor the team. And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, he wants to give us jerseys and money. And he was like, why? I was like, because we're a national team. Because like, this is a really cool thing that we do here. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sounds good. And so, yeah, I connected them and they worked it out. And yeah, they got their first ever sponsor.
No, I mean, when opportunities like that come, it's you just have to open that door for opportunity. And then I just had one last question for you. So unfortunately, Tonga got knocked out in the earlier stages of qualifying. Where
Mm-hmm.
do you see yourself and the national team in terms of the next World Cup qualifiers? Where do you see you guys?
Yeah, I see us getting out of that first round because I guess in OFC, I don't know if it's traditional or standard, but the bottom four, the lowest ranked four teams in the Confederation play in that first round, and then the winner of that first round moves on to the group stage, and then it's just the traditional group stage, knockout stage after that. Um, I see us getting out of the first round easily next time for the next World Cup qualifying. Um, I That's why I want to start the semi-pro team to help those guys get more experience and better coaching, better facilities, to hopefully help the younger guys get more experience and just to be better soccer players and better athletes in general. Because right now the only time that they train is when there's tournaments happening. It is really the most intensive training that they do outside of their club system, which it depends on the team that they're a part of. Some teams train two to three times a week. Some teams don't train at all. They just show up on Saturday to play. And so I think with better training and better opportunities, we can get a lot more of those younger, talented players um, going with a lot better experience. I do think the brand of Tonga football is also getting a lot stronger, where more talented players that play, semi-pro or professional in Australia or abroad are going to be more interested in actually coming and representing the country as a whole as well. So I do think we're going to attract better talent, and the talent that we have, I think, is going to be better. So I do think that we can show out a lot better than we did this last time.
No, I mean, let's hope so. And do you see yourself being a part of that system? Do you see yourself potentially being part of the squad for that next round of qualifiers?
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I'm training every day, doing a little bit every day, just to try and get my body more accustomed to being athletic again. Because I lost a lot of momentum after not playing for so long, and so um, yeah, just building my body back up. Instead of doing it all in 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, like 6 weeks, I'm doing it over the course of 3 years, and so I'm really hopeful and excited about the work that I'm doing. So I do think that I can get to the point where I'll be a part of that squad for sure.
Okay, fantastic. And I mean, I'm sure everyone watching wishes you luck. And before we sign off, I did want to give you the opportunity if there's any kind of personal brand or anything like the team, anything you want to shout out or give mention to, this is your space to do so.
Okay, yeah, we sell these T-shirts. We started a company called Voyagers, just because of the Polynesian Voyagers. It's something that means a lot to me, because I was able to go back to my home country, my family's home country, and lift the islands up. And that's kind of what the idea of Voyagers is. And so we're selling T-shirts with this cool little boat logo on it. I hand drew this myself, um, and we're starting a couple other businesses, but that's a lot more local to Utah specifically because we're actually moving back to Utah, and yeah, like I said, we're starting a couple businesses to help support the semi-pro team, and to help get a lot of the other Tongan players over here. So I mean, look out for my Instagram. We post a lot there, and about a lot of the other projects that we're working on there.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'll make sure to link all that stuff down in one cheeky question because I know my dad will kill me if I don't ask. No connection to Jonah Lomu at all?
No, not that I know of. Yeah, I've known about Jonah Lomu for a long time, and yeah, I've never seen or heard from family members that were related.
Okay, I just knew I had to get that one. But guys, thank you so much
For
for
sure.
watching. Of course, all links are in the description down below. And obviously, thank you very much for watching me, Maikeli. I really do appreciate you joining me here, sharing your story a tiny bit. I think it's really, really fantastic. Well done on your career so far.
Yeah, thank you so much. Pleasure was all mine.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you everyone. Fun FYWN. Cheers.